Stop whatever you're doing and listen closely, because what I'm about to share could completely change the way you understand your body. Most men over 60 have been told the same story for years. They've been told that weaker erections are just part of aging, that testosterone drops, that desire fades, that this is simply what happens. But that explanation is incomplete, and in many cases, it's flat out wrong. The real reason strong, reliable erections begin to disappear has very little to do with age itself. It has everything to do with circulation. Every single day, without even realizing it, millions of men are slowly restricting their own blood flow. Their arteries stiffen, their vessels narrow. The very pathways responsible for firmness become sluggish and unresponsive. And when blood cannot move freely, the body cannot perform. What used to be automatic becomes uncertain. What used to be instant becomes delayed. Morning erections quietly vanish. No warning, no clear explanation, just silence. Maybe you tried to ignore it. Maybe you blamed stress or poor sleep. Maybe you reached for medication. Or maybe you carried that quiet frustration alone, smiling on the outside while inside you wondered what changed. That silent fear that your body has turned against you can feel heavier than most men ever admit. But here's the truth you deserve to hear. Your body is not broken. Your masculinity is not gone. The mechanism that creates strength is still there. It simply isn't being activated the way it once was. And when you understand why, you can reverse it naturally. I'm Dr. Mohit Khera. I've spent over 3 decades specializing in urology and men's health. What I'm about to explain isn't hype. It's physiology. When blood flow is restored, performance follows. When circulation improves, responsiveness returns. And there is a simple combination using extra virgin olive oil and one specific companion oil that can dramatically support nitric oxide production, the molecule responsible for opening blood vessels and allowing firmness to happen. Some men report feeling improvement within a day. Others notice subtle warmth and responsiveness within an hour. Not because of stimulation, not because of fantasy, but because circulation wakes up. Before we go further, if you are serious about rebuilding strength and confidence, make sure you're subscribed and notifications are on. These conversations are designed specifically for men over 60 who refuse to give up on vitality. And if what I've said so far resonates with you, type 1 in the comments. If you're still unsure, type 0 and tell me what you're struggling with. Your experience matters here. Now let's talk about what's really happening inside your body. After 50, nitric oxide production begins to decline sharply. Nitric oxide is the chemical signal that tells arteries to relax and expand. Without it, blood vessels remain tight and unresponsive. Desire can still be present, attraction can still be strong, but without circulation, nothing physical follows. That's why this issue feels so confusing. The mind is ready. The body doesn't respond. This is not a failure of character. It's a vascular issue. And vascular issues can be supported. When blood vessels regain flexibility, when nitric oxide levels rise, firmness returns, warmth returns, confidence returns, and that brings us to the foundation of everything. Understanding the true role of circulation and how to activate it naturally. Here's the reality most men never hear clearly. An erection is not driven by testosterone alone. It is not powered by desire. It is not controlled by willpower. An erection is a blood flow event. Nothing more. Nothing less. When blood moves quickly and efficiently through relaxed arteries into the penile chambers, firmness happens. When circulation is restricted, it doesn't matter how strong the desire is. The body cannot respond. Nitric oxide is the key signal in this process. It instructs blood vessels to widen, allowing a surge of blood to create pressure and rigidity. When nitric oxide levels are strong, erections are fast and dependable. When levels fall, as they commonly do after 50, the response becomes slower, weaker, or disappears entirely. By the time many men reach their 60s, nitric oxide production may be reduced by nearly half, compared to earlier decades. That drop alone can explain almost everything. The emotional toll of this change is rarely discussed openly. Men often internalize it. They question themselves. They withdraw from intimacy to avoid disappointment. They may avoid initiating moments that once felt natural. But the root cause isn't personal weakness. It's vascular stiffness and reduced signaling. The encouraging part is this: nitric oxide levels can be supported. Blood vessel flexibility can improve. Circulation can be enhanced. And one of the most overlooked tools for doing that has been sitting in kitchens for generations: extra virgin olive oil. But here's where most people misunderstand its power. Olive oil contains compounds called polyphenols. These act as antioxidants, helping protect blood vessels from inflammation and oxidative stress. It also contains oleic acid, a healthy fat that supports cellular function. Together, these components can assist in maintaining vascular health. However, there's a problem. Many of these beneficial compounds are fragile. Heat damages them, light degrades them, and digestion can reduce their availability before they reach the bloodstream. So when men casually drizzle olive oil on food or cook it at high temperatures, they often destroy much of what makes it powerful. Even when taken by the spoonful, absorption may not be optimal. That's why so many experience minimal results. The oil itself isn't the issue. The way it's used and what it's paired with makes all the difference. Because olive oil alone delivers only part of its potential. The real breakthrough happens when it's combined with the right companion oil, one that stabilizes and amplifies its effects on nitric oxide and circulation. And once you understand how that partnership works inside the body, you begin to see why some men notice dramatic changes while others feel nothing at all. The oil that changes everything when paired correctly with extra virgin olive oil is black seed oil. And before you dismiss that as just another trend, stay with me, because the science behind this combination is what makes the difference. On its own, olive oil offers vascular support through its polyphenols and healthy fats. On its own, black seed oil contains a powerful compound called thymoquinone, known for its antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties. But individually, their impact can be limited. Together, they create synergy. Thymoquinone helps protect nitric oxide from breaking down too quickly in the bloodstream. That matters because nitric oxide is fragile. Once produced, it doesn't last long. If it degrades too quickly, blood vessels don't stay relaxed long enough to support strong firmness. Meanwhile, the polyphenols in olive oil help shield blood vessels from oxidative stress, allowing them to remain flexible instead of stiff. When these compounds work together, they support both production and preservation of nitric oxide. That's the critical difference. However, black seed oil by itself can also be unstable. Exposure to heat, light, or poor storage reduces its potency. This is why many men try it and feel little change. The issue often isn't the concept, it's quality and pairing. When properly sourced cold-pressed black seed oil is combined with high-quality extra virgin olive oil, the fats in olive oil help improve absorption of thymoquinone through the digestive tract. That means more of the active compounds actually reach the bloodstream, where they can do their job. What does this feel like in practical terms? Many men report subtle but noticeable warmth in the chest or lower body shortly after consistent use. Not a stimulant effect, not a sudden jolt, but a gradual awakening of circulation. Within days, sleep may improve. Energy levels may feel steadier. Over weeks, responsiveness during intimacy becomes more reliable. That progression is not magic, it's improved vascular function. The key is consistency and ratio. 1 teaspoon of extra virgin olive oil combined with half a teaspoon of black seed oil, taken with a meal that contains natural fats, allows for optimal absorption. Timing matters because healthy fats stimulate bile release, which improves uptake of fat-soluble compounds. Taken on an empty stomach, absorption may be reduced. With food, it becomes significantly more efficient. Over the first week, subtle changes may begin. By week 2, many notice improved morning responsiveness. By weeks 4 through 12, vascular adaptation becomes more stable. Blood vessels respond more readily. Confidence grows because the body becomes predictable again. But there's another important layer most men overlook: hydration and circulation environment. Even the best oil combination cannot function effectively if blood is thick and dehydrated. Without proper fluid balance, oxygen delivery slows, and nitric oxide signaling weakens. And this is where the next multiplier comes into play, something so simple that most men ignore it completely. Because restoring performance isn't about one miracle ingredient. It's about creating the right internal environment for circulation to thrive. In the next part, we're going to talk about the often ignored factors: hydration, breathing, sunlight, and movement that dramatically amplify the effects of this oil blend and determine whether results plateau or accelerate. Now here's the part most men completely underestimate. You can take the perfect blend of extra virgin olive oil and black seed oil every single day, measure it correctly, store it properly, and still feel disappointed if you ignore one critical factor: the internal environment of your blood flow. Circulation does not exist in isolation. It depends on hydration, oxygen delivery, vessel flexibility, and overall vascular tone. And this is where many men unknowingly sabotage their own results. Let's start with something simple but powerful: water. As men age, total body water naturally declines. Thirst signals weaken. Many men walk around mildly dehydrated without realizing it. When hydration drops, blood becomes thicker. Thicker blood moves more slowly. Slower blood flow means reduced oxygen delivery and weaker nitric oxide signaling. Even a small level of dehydration can reduce vascular responsiveness. That means the same arteries you're trying to relax with nitric oxide remain resistant, simply because the fluid environment is compromised. When you begin drinking water consistently throughout the day, not all at once, but steadily, blood viscosity improves, circulation becomes smoother, oxygen transport increases, nitric oxide can move and signal more effectively. Add a small amount of natural electrolytes or magnesium to support mineral balance, and the effect strengthens further. This is not complicated. It's basic physiology. But when paired with the oil blend, it multiplies results, rather than merely adding to them. Then there's breathing. Most people breathe through their mouths without thinking. Mouth breathing bypasses one of the body's natural nitric oxide pathways. When you breathe through your nose, your sinuses naturally release small amounts of nitric oxide into inhaled air. That nitric oxide travels into the lungs and supports vasodilation. It's subtle, but measurable. Just 5 minutes a day of slow nasal breathing can enhance vascular tone. It costs nothing. It requires no equipment. Yet almost no one uses it intentionally. Sunlight is another overlooked tool. Moderate morning sunlight exposure activates nitric oxide stores in the skin. Research has shown that ultraviolet light can release nitric oxide into circulation, temporarily lowering blood pressure and improving vascular flexibility. 10 minutes of morning sun on the skin, without burning, can support this natural pathway. Again, simple, natural, effective. And finally, gentle movement. Not intense exercise. Not heavy lifting. Just a relaxed 1-0-minute walk in the evening. Walking improves endothelial function, the inner lining of blood vessels responsible for nitric oxide release. When vessels are stimulated through movement, they maintain elasticity instead of stiffening over time. Think of it as reminding your arteries how to expand and contract properly. When you combine consistent hydration, nasal breathing, sunlight exposure, and daily walking with the olive oil and black seed oil blend, you create synergy. Blood becomes fluid. Vessels become flexible. Nitric oxide production increases. Preservation improves. Delivery strengthens. And that's when men begin reporting changes that feel dramatic compared to months or years of stagnation. But there is another layer to this conversation that many men never hear, and it may be the most important one of all. Because even if you follow every instruction perfectly, results will fail if the oils themselves are low quality or adulterated. And unfortunately, that's more common than most people realize. Now we need to talk about something uncomfortable, because this is where many men lose progress without ever realizing why. You can follow every instruction correctly. You can mix the oils in the right ratio. You can hydrate, breathe properly, walk daily, get sunlight, and still, nothing changes. Not because your body failed, not because age has won, but because the oil sitting in your kitchen is not what you think it is. The reality is this: a significant portion of olive oil sold in stores is either diluted, poorly processed, or stripped of the very compounds that make it effective. Many bottles labeled extra virgin have been exposed to heat during processing or storage. Some are blended with cheaper seed oils. Others sit on bright supermarket shelves for months, degrading under light. When polyphenols break down, olive oil loses its vascular support benefits. At that point, it becomes little more than flavored fat. It will not meaningfully support nitric oxide. It will not improve endothelial function. It will not restore circulation. The same problem exists with black seed oil. High-quality black seed oil should be cold-pressed, stored in dark glass, and have a rich, slightly bitter taste with a strong aroma. Diluted versions are lighter in color, thinner in texture, and weaker in scent. If thymoquinone levels are low due to poor processing, the oil cannot protect nitric oxide effectively. That means the synergy you're trying to create never fully activates. This is where many men quietly lose hope. They assume the method doesn't work. They assume their bodies are beyond repair. But often, the missing piece is quality control. Oils must be cold-pressed, organic when possible, stored in dark glass bottles, and kept away from heat and light. Once opened, they should be stored properly to prevent oxidation. These details are not marketing tricks. They are biochemical necessities. Here's a simple checklist you should follow. Choose extra virgin olive oil that clearly states cold-pressed and harvest date if available. Look for dark glass packaging, not clear plastic. Avoid bottles exposed to bright light. Taste matters. High polyphenol olive oil often has a slight peppery finish. For black seed oil, verify cold-pressed extraction, dark glass storage, and minimal processing. Strong aroma and darker color usually indicate higher potency. When men switch from low-quality oils to authentic, properly stored products, the difference can be noticeable. Not overnight miracles, but measurable changes in warmth, responsiveness, and overall energy. That's because now the active compounds are actually reaching the bloodstream intact. This isn't about chasing trends. It's about removing obstacles. Once circulation is supported, once nitric oxide is protected, once hydration and movement are optimized, the body often remembers what it was designed to do. But there's one final piece that ties everything together. Even with the right oils, the right habits, and the right consistency, many men unknowingly overlook a multiplier that determines how quickly results appear. And this final factor is simpler than most expect. In the next and final part, we're going to bring everything together and explain how to integrate these steps into a sustainable routine that supports long-term performance, not temporary improvement, and how to move forward with confidence starting today. Now let's bring everything together, because this is where transformation stops being theory and becomes action. You've learned that erections are not simply about age or testosterone. They are about circulation. You've seen how nitric oxide acts as the signal that opens blood vessels and allows firmness to happen. You understand how extra virgin olive oil supports vascular health through polyphenols and healthy fats. You've discovered how black seed oil, through thymoquinone, helps protect nitric oxide and amplify its effects. You've seen how hydration, nasal breathing, sunlight, and simple daily movement multiply those benefits. And you now know that quality matters because fake or poorly processed oils can silently erase your progress. But here is the final multiplier that determines whether this becomes a short experiment or a lasting shift. Consistency without intensity. Many men make the same mistake. They start strong. They measure perfectly for a week. They drink more water for 10 days. They walk every evening for 2 weeks. Then, life gets busy. Travel happens. Motivation dips. They skip a few days, then a few more. Results slow down. Doubt creeps in. And the cycle repeats. Not because the method failed, but because biology rewards steady input, not bursts of effort. Blood vessels respond gradually. Endothelial cells, the inner lining of your arteries, adapt over time. Nitric oxide production improves when supported repeatedly, not sporadically. Think of it like training flexibility. You don't stretch once and expect permanent results. You stretch consistently. The same principle applies here. So the sustainable routine looks like this. Each morning, take 1 teaspoon of high-quality extra virgin olive oil mixed with half a teaspoon of cold-pressed black seed oil alongside your largest meal. Throughout the day, drink water steadily rather than all at once. Spend 5 minutes practicing slow nasal breathing. Get 10 minutes of morning sunlight when possible. Take a relaxed 10-minute walk in the evening. Store your oils properly. Replace them when they age. Repeat daily. Nothing extreme. Nothing complicated. Just consistent vascular support. Within days, you may notice subtle warmth or improved sleep. Within weeks, morning responsiveness may begin returning. Within 1 to 3 months, vascular function can feel more dependable. Confidence doesn't surge because of hype. It builds because your body becomes predictable again. That predictability restores trust in yourself, in intimacy, in your identity. And here's the deeper truth. This isn't only about performance. It's about overall cardiovascular health. The same circulation that supports firmness supports your heart, brain, and long-term vitality. When you improve endothelial function, you're not just addressing one symptom, you're strengthening the entire system. You are not broken. You are not past your prime. Your body operates on signals and supply. Restore the signals, improve the supply, protect the pathways, stay consistent. If this conversation gave you clarity, don't let it end here. Subscribe so you never miss another men's health breakdown designed specifically for you. Turn on notifications so you stay informed. And in the comments, type, "Reedy," if you're committed to rebuilding your circulation starting today. Your next chapter doesn't depend on age, it depends on action.